good of others. Which means the question, but I have this right, really isn't in the equation yet. The question is it the highest good for that person? Let me look at just one more. Fourth, love is busy. It's busy. It's an action. 1 John 3, 16 through 18. Love is busy. By this we know love, that he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brothers. But if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him? Here's the key, verse 18. Little children, let us not love in word or talk, but in deed and truth. Love's busy. All right, that's just a little light coming down in the Word. Let's go back to the crawl, our passage in Ephesians 5, and let's look next at the illustration. We looked at the imperative, the command, which was love your wife. Let's look at the illustration. Verses 25 through 27. Paul's going to give us a visual aid. I've had times in the village where I was looking for someone, and I was trying to explain what they looked like, how they talked. I even gave their name. And each person would say, Anivativi. I don't know this person. I don't know this person. I don't know them. But then I would take out my phone. Or I would take out a picture and I would say, look. And they'd say, oh, I know him. I know him. How helpful a picture is to us. That's what Paul is going to do here. He's going to say, love your wives. And we say, I'm not quite sure what that means. And so Paul pulls out his iPhone and he says, here's a picture of Christ's love for the church. I'm going to give you an illustration of what it looks like. And that's why in verse 25, what is the word after wives? What is the word? Just as. Some translations might just say as, or just as. It's a comparison. Here's the point. Christ's love is the greatest example of love for these three reasons. He's going to give us three ways that Christ's love is above all love. We look to him as our illustration, as our example. All of us looks to Jesus as the greatest example of one who loves. So let me give you three ways, three examples of why Christ's love is the greatest. Number one, Christ's love is sacrificial. Christ's love is sacrificial. Let's look at the passage. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself. He gave himself. He sacrificed. John 10, verse 11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. John 10, 15. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. John 10, 17. For this reason, the Father loves me, because I lay down my life that I may take it up again. Men, let me ask you, why do we take a bullet for a woman? When we're walking with our wives down the road, and here is the busy traffic, the chicontiere, why do we walk on the side closest to the road and our wife is farthest away? Why do men fight in combat and in war, and women do not, unless you're a country who has lost all its sanity, like South Africa, who encourages their women to fight in the military? Why do we always get up in the middle of the night when we hear a sound outside and there might be danger? Why do we not say, hey, it's 50-50, I got up last night, woman, it's your turn? Why do we not do that? We don't do that because of this passage. Because Christ gave up himself. His love is sacrificial. We go to war. We take the punch. We take the bullet. We take the sword. We take the pain for our wives. Now, our attitude in giving our lives for our wives is important as well. If you try to follow this passage with a bad attitude, you're not there yet. Our attitude must not be in the middle of the night, fine, I'll get up because I have to. This should be your attitude. Listen, John 10:18, the words of Jesus. No one takes my life from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I not only take the bullet, I take the pain, I take the sword, I take the car, I take whatever's going to bring pain, I do it happily, voluntarily. No one's telling me this is what I must do. I want to do it because Jesus Christ gave his life of his own accord. No one forced him to do it. He did it out of love and with the right attitude. But God commended his love toward us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. John 15:13. Greater love no one has than this, that someone lay down his life for his friend. So we looked at Christ's love that is sacrificial. There's a second point about his love in this passage, and that is Christ's love is specific. Look at that passage again, verse 25. And gave himself up for who? For who? For her? Yes. And who is her? It's the church, which means that Christ died for the church in a special way. And Christ loves the church and his bride in a way that he does not love other people. And in the same way, men, we are to love our wives in a way that we do not love other women. Our love for them is specific. It is for them. We say things to them, we do things with them that is unlike any other relationship. It is specific. It is different. This is a love that always wants to give, and it is not concerned with getting. Christ's love is sacrificial. It's specific. Thirdly, it's sanctifying. Look at verse 26. That he might sanctify her. That word sanctify means to set apart. So that she would be perfect, able to serve. Here's the purpose of love. You see, Christ wants to present his bride gloriously. He wants to present her in all of her beauty. He prepares her. He presents her, and then he receives her. The church is not tainted in any way. There's no dirt, there's no blood, there's no stain, there's no wrinkles, there's nothing. There's no mistakes in this bride. Having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. Now here's the question. When does this happen? Has it happened? And the answer is not yet. How do we know that? Because we are not perfect. We do have blemishes. We do have mistakes. We do have sins. But there is coming a time when we will be perfect. Brothers, let this passage remind us sanctification. Our walk with Christ is a battle. It is a war. It is a process. You're not there yet, brother, but you must fight, and one day, when we stand before Christ, we will be perfect. And that means Christ's goal is not only to remove the penalty of sin on the cross, which is true, but he wants to remove